back, boys and girls, with another episode of the Not So Fucking Ordinary Show, where I'm taking the time to interview extraordinary people. And before I introduce you to my guest here to my right, I want to, of course, highlight our show sponsor, Fit to Give. Fit to Give is the #1 shaker bottle in the world, where we're pushing proceeds into charities dedicated to providing higher quality water, nutrition, and education. Again, you can find us at fittogive.org. But with no further ado, introduce yourself to the folks here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Byers. I'm a licensed realtor as well as a fashion designer. I just moved to Minnesota maybe a year ago, so I'm just trying to really get connected with the right people.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Michael. Or do you go by Mike?
Mike when we chilling. I'm Michael when it's something professional.
Okay. Well, we're chilling today, so it's Mike today, man.
Yeah, Mike.
All right, so Mike, I'm really excited for this episode because I really want to highlight, this clothing line of yours. It really grabbed my attention for a couple of reasons, which we'll dive into. But before we dissect the brand, tell us about your clothing company, what it's all about, how it was founded, how you came up with the name, and we'll go from there.
Man, it's really just like a reflection, no pun intended, but it's like really a reflection of my life. Like,
Okay.
I was just kind of around like a lot of negative environments. Like, I wanted to do clothes, but everybody told me that it won't work for men. Like, it was like, that's a woman's thing, or it ain't no money in clothing, you ain't gonna be able to do well in that and stuff like that. You need to find something else. So it was just a lot of that, like people telling me it wouldn't work, and then like, listen, I worked in corporate America when I first moved here, so I was hearing everybody kind of say like all of this type of stuff because I kind of thought big, and they say it's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just kind of where I was kind of understanding. I would go to work every day. I had a good job, benefits, everything like that, and I was so unhappy, and I didn't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
So I just always was talking to God and asking him like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why am I not happy?
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up getting my real estate license. I jumped out, quit my job, and I was like, man, I'm gonna make it or break it. So it kind of originated from my environments. Like, I would just want to think of one word that was something easy to remember with a powerful meaning behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I came up with energy.
Okay.
I just feel like it's so important. I just feel like it's something that means so many different things, but it's so good for a brand.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up just trying to print up some shirts. Like I've done shirts for about 4 years now. So I just try to start putting all my creative thoughts into one thing and just keeping it simple. Because I was trying to go all different avenues. I was doing like custom t-shirts, birthday t-shirts and stuff like that. So I was just trying to really keep it into a brand. So that's where all this originated. The reflective stuff was just like magic. Because I didn't even originally think about using a reflective. But I knew I wanted to do something that was eye-catching.
Yeah.
And it's going to be something that you'll remember and it stands out. So,
right.
And it's different. So that's what I was trying to create.
Yeah, I think that's brilliant. And we're going to dive into that much deeper. But I want to set the stage a little more deeply before we get into that. So tell me about your tech experience, or not tech experience, your corporate experience.
Man, I had the president of the college sit down with me, and he was like, we were having a whole conversation about like luxury cars.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, they were looking at them all on their phones and stuff, like Lamborghinis and stuff like that. And then he was like, all of the people at the lunch table were saying, I know I'll never be able to afford this. I know I'll never be able to afford this. And I'm just kind of sitting there quiet because I'm like, some way, some people are buying these cars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess y'all just feel they keep saying they're not gonna be able to do it. And I've always grown up, like, not saying my parents were bad influences, but they would always just talk about being poor and we can't afford this. And I would always kind of just be like, why? So just being around that environment constantly just took a toll on me. Like, I was always a dreamer, but like people just try to always kill what you think is possible.
Mm-hmm.
So
what kind of a role were you in the corporate world?
Just like, corporate people kind of think different. They don't think outside the box. They think just a totally traditional way. Like, you have to go my parents told me I wouldn't be able to get a good job without having all of these degrees and stuff. So I ended up getting a job without the degree. I had the least amount of education. I had all this other stuff, and they still hired me on full time. So.
And what was it? I gotta know. What was it? Was it a sales? Was it marketing?
No, I was in ADR. I was working with like access and disability resources.
Okay.
I was a access and disabilities support assistant at St. Paul College.
Okay, gotcha.
So I did like 6 jobs. Like they didn't tell me until 3 months in. It was like, we used to have like 6 people doing this job. So I was like, that was a sign right there that I could probably do something wrong.
Yeah. No, it was important for me to really dig into that and highlight it because a lot of the people that are listening and watching are in a corporate environment, which by no means am I against corporate environment. It's about self-awareness and doing what's best for you. However, there are plenty of people who are in that type of environment and landscape who feel the friction of going into work every day and don't feel passionate about it. And when they're not passionate about it, they can't put their first and best foot forward. And so they're trying to understand, okay, why am I having such a hard time waking up in the morning and actually performing to the best of my abilities? Is this the path for me? Is there something else? And for you, you were able to recognize, okay, this corporate environment isn't for me. I need to branch out. And so then you segue to real estate. What type of real estate? Are you selling residential homes? Are you getting into commercial? What is the backstory?
Since I've been in Minnesota, I've been doing that for about 6 months. So I basically started with a lot of rentals. I usually work in rental properties every day, like helping people find places and in complexes and stuff like that. So or investment properties. I work with investors that are trying to buy properties and flip them and rent them out, whatever. So I more or less wanted to just really be an investor though. But I knew I wanted to understand the game of real estate. So that's kind of how that originated. I just knew I didn't want to work. I hated trying to save up time to get vacation. You know what I'm saying? You have to work so much to get this much time of vacation. So
we'll have to chat about that outside of the podcast today, because I've been investing in a lot of multi-unit real estate properties. So we'll talk about that offline here.
Let's do that.
Okay, so let's transition over to, of course, the reason why we're here, which is the energy brand. You started to highlight some of the origin story behind it, but I'm really curious to know what was the process you had to go through to launch this type of an organization. Walk me through for people who don't know, the process of starting a business. So how did you actually, you touched on it a little bit, but how did you come up with the name? How did you come up with the vision? How did you create the website? Like really go back to those beginning moments and walk us through what that was like, because I think a lot of people watching and listening are going to pull a lot of value out of that.
Okay. I tried to do this previously back home in Alabama.
Okay.
Another brand I was working on was called Dream Above and Beyond. So.
And that business failed?
It didn't, because I got so busy doing like custom t-shirts.
Okay.
Had I just stuck on the brand, I probably would have been just fine. But
and there's nothing wrong with that. I have plenty of failed businesses.
Yeah, that's true. I do too. I try to do something.
Yeah.
So it just began. Once I got the idea, I tried to print up a shirt and I tried to post it and get some feedback. I got nothing.
Okay.
I was like, I thought it was pretty good. Like, so I just started wearing it, and then I started just walking around with it, and I threw the reflective on. So when I threw that reflective vinyl on it, and I started wearing the t-shirts, and I started showing people and making videos on Snapchat or Instagram or something like that, that's when all the feedback started coming in. So I was like, okay.
And I'm telling you right there, that was what really hooked me when I saw the clothing line, because the reflective piece is one thing, and I think it's brilliant, but the way it's coupled with the name, and it makes sense. It makes sense. It's in unison, energy, and you get that energy that's reflected back. You know what I mean? Like,
that's why I feel like it's so important. That's why I just it all just started coming together. I was like, okay, this is where I really need to stick.
And that's why I had to have you on the show, because I'm like, whoever did this was very creative and thoughtful, and so I just wanted to mention that. But go ahead, keep going.
I had this idea for this like a year and a half ago, and I was making all the designs on Photoshop. I made all of this and stuff on Photoshop like a year and a half ago. I just I didn't know how it would work with me being new to Minnesota. Like I didn't know how I would get connected with the right people, because I was posting it and getting feedback, but there was a lot from people from back home.
Sure.
But I really wanted to start just fresh here and make a name for their own brand. So it just, I didn't know nothing really about networking. I'm from a real small town, so it's been like crazy coming here.
Yeah. So how much of it, and you don't have to give specific numbers, but just curious to know for a lot of people who are thinking about starting a business, but they're afraid to because of the upfront capital that's sometimes required. Do you feel like there was a lot of capital required to start printing shirts and do a lot of testing and error testing? I'm struggling with my words today. A lot of, testing, a lot of A/B tests to see what works, what doesn't work, or were you able to just do one shirt at a time? And the ROI was coming back, you were able to sell one of 3 that were being posted, or was it like a big investment, you shipped shirts from overseas or whatever it was and start printing 10,000 at a time? So it was a lot of capital up front.
It's more or less about how you want to go about it, because there's so many ways you can go about making t-shirts. I decided to go using a heat press and a cutter and a laptop, so I invested in buying that, and I just looked on like a site called JSI, and I bought a cutter off of there. It was like $1,500. I bought a heat press, which was maybe about $300, and I had a laptop, and I had to buy the program. I can't remember how much that was, but it's just where I started. So I ended up, my cutter machine was like going bad on me, so I ended up having to get a whole nother one and stuff like that. So it was just like I went that route. So it was just like me making those upfront investments, but then other than that, all I have to do is buy the clothing. So I cut out kind of that middleman. I can make the stuff myself right now.
That's smart.
So that's what I was really trying to go about it. That's what I'm saying. It just kind of depends which avenue you want to use with it. So I kind of just got it rolling like that. I would just print up a couple of t-shirts or hoodies and just post them on my store with the reflective stuff flashing.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, dude, what is that? And
right.
So that's just kind of where it all began. So it just like, I saw immediately that this is what I really should stick with, because I was just getting like a lot of people telling me that, not only people telling me stuff, but it was just like, I felt like this was the way I needed to go, because it has such a powerful meaning. And I was like, I was just trying to think of something simple that can be remembered easily. I didn't want to make it too complicated. That's what I've done before with the failed clothing line I tried to start.
Yeah, I think you're really onto something, and your ability to tell the story is gonna be a major factor in the growth of this company. Being able to correlate, again, the reflection and what it means to you and energy and why it started the company. I think a lot of people are gonna get behind that story and that mission and purpose, because visually it's there, but when you tell it in video format or on your new website that's coming out, when you can tell that, people will get behind that and be like, damn, I like that.
It's about what you surround. Like energy means like what you surround yourself in. Energy can also is everything really. Energy is money. You know what I'm saying? Money is a form of energy. You know what I'm saying? Just like so many meanings in one word. That's why it gives me like longevity. So that's why I appreciate it, and it's just it's meaningful, and it's like, I don't know, I like the clothes, they fly.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
main thing.
Yeah, it's not just a great logo and a cool reflection, but
it's fly.
Yeah, these are dope, and
so
they're comfortable too.
It was a lot of trial and error with that too. Like I was trying to take hoodies. I had like 5 different brands I was trying to use, and I just washed them like 5 times, see which one looked the best, which one didn't shrink, which ones kept the colors.
Smart.
So it was a lot of trial and error. I had the letters coming off and stuff like that. It was bad. So
I can imagine.
Dude, so I finally got it to where I feel like I'm ready now.
Yeah. So walk me through how you were able to start incorporating other people's like modeling and their own social networks. I've been seeing a lot of people on your stories and on your Instagram pages modeling your gear. How did you go about reaching out to those folks and either incentivizing them or asking them to model your clothes?
That was more or less from me going out every day, like networking. I was at networking events. I was just trying to meet as many really people that I felt like were doing something as I could. So I luckily was randomly introduced to Chelsea. Emily, I think you had on here.
Yep, two podcasts ago.
Yeah, so I luckily ran into her from a good friend of mine that I met when I first got up here, which was ran how I met him too.
Yeah.
So I luckily ran into her. She knew she does this professionally. So I ran into her, and she kind of asked me my story about like, where is this coming from? Like, where did you want to go with this? And so we kind of had a long conversation. She asked me my whole life story.
Yeah.
So she was just like, man, I really like what you're doing. We kind of took to each other. We just kind of connected on that level, and then we just started going with the brand. Like, she knew a lot of models and a lot of people that I didn't know here, so we kind of just merged the two, and it's been doing very, very well since she's been on board. Yeah,
that's awesome. I think your guys' partnership is going to really, reap some benefits. I'm excited to see where you guys can take it. Up until this point, what have been some of the biggest challenges?
Finances, man.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, I want to get it out there, so I've been giving a lot of stuff away.
Yeah.
Which is good, because everybody wearing it is marketing for you. But it's like, still, like, you want to start seeing.
Yeah, you want to start recouping some of the costs associated with it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just
is that the biggest thing for the finances piece? Is just you feel like a lot of it is, I don't want to use the word bleeding out, because that sounds, you're doing more of an upfront investment, hoping that it comes back in return through word of mouth and networking. But is it that, or is it that plus, of course, the cost it takes to manufacture and print and all that stuff?
Yeah,
are you spending anything on marketing dollars other than giving it face to face?
Spending money for marketing on like Instagram.
What is it? Yeah, let's talk about that for a little bit. So walk me through some of the like marketing campaigns you're running. I know you're doing, again, the photo shoots with a lot of the essentially brand ambassadors, if you will, but walk me through some of the marketing campaigns you're running.
So that's more or less been from those photo shoots we've been having. Those are more or less trying to get those out, and we'll try to press those out to as many people. We've been trying to wait doing like Instagram ads as far as the website, because we wanted to drop that first.
Yep.
And I want to make sure I have my LLC and my trademark and just everything. It was mine. Like, I owned it first before I started just trying to blow it out. But it's just been, man. I think we started with Instagram. We really want to just really try to master that Instagram platform. So we've been trying to do ads for that. We're getting ads ready now for the website to just start specifically towards Minnesota. We've been trying to get ads ready for like, we're having a call casting this Saturday. So if y'all are free, pull up. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a website release, and it's my birthday.
Okay.
So feel free.
I saw the invite. Yeah.
So we having that. We've been getting that ready. We're just trying to get dates and stuff together, because we want to have a fashion show, like launch party type of deal. So we just really trying to lay that foundation for energy. But eventually, like, I want to include other brands like Opinion and just everybody else I can. Just like we all start doing shows together, and just.
Yeah. Have you met Nolan yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
We chopped it up. Yeah. Good guy.
Awesome. Yeah, he is a good guy. He was the previous guest on the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple of ideas for you, and we can go into detail later on, but just off the top of my head, I think a good approach for you, just given like the brand and the audience, I feel like you would get a lot of free organic reach on TikTok.
Is that like a video thing?
Yeah, it's a newer platform. Not a lot of people are on it. Well, at least not a lot of people above 22 years old. But man, I feel like you get the right people wearing your gear, doing quick little dance videos on TikTok with your website on it. I think you'll drive a lot of, and it's free. You don't have to run ads. I recently just got on TikTok, like personally, and then for Fit to Give.
I gotta write that down.
Write it down. And if you get on it now, you'll be early.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a good one.
It's definitely a junior high school type of thing.
I've seen it, yeah.
But trust me, those kids will definitely and can definitely buy your merch, and if they don't, their older brothers and sisters will, or their whatever it is. It's just a great platform to grab attention for free and drive that to your website. So I would strongly recommend that. And then of course there's other mediums, but I think that's something that you could do tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna hop on.
Yeah. Cool, man. So talk to me about. So we talked about a marketing piece. Let's talk about some of your sales strategies. Do you feel like, and I don't even know, because it's somewhat of a new company, I don't know if you've given it a lot of thought, but I'm just curious to know if you have an idea of what kind of sales funnels you'll be running through? Is it going to be all e-commerce? Is it going to be e-commerce plus a little, brick and mortar retail stores? Are you trying to get into some pop-up shops? Like just curious to know.
Yes, all of that. Yeah, I think we really want to start with like e-commerce. We want to do that initially, just so we have like a platform. Like if Instagram shut down today, like energy is like what? But if we have a good website just for us, I want to start there.
Are you going to be focused nationally, or do you think you'll have international shipping capabilities?
I do. I want to be open to whatever.
Okay.
Like I don't want to limit it at all.
Yeah.
But I definitely want to do a brick and mortar. Like I've already been thinking of designs, like how I want people to be wearing the shirts in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think about that a lot. But I know it's a lot I have to do before that. But I've been kind of more or less thinking, just starting with the website, just getting that rolling, which I still think a lot of orders are gonna come through Instagram still, because that's where we make it bulk of our orders now. So I feel like once we get that website rolling and just get people to drive towards that through Instagram or through Facebook and stuff like that, I feel like the website is gonna start to pick up and all this type of stuff. So eventually, yes, I would love to start getting into like Etsy, and then I would want to get like a brick and mortar.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's a great plan of attack. I'm excited for you, man.
Man, me too.
I'm excited for this website to launch.
Yeah. It's gonna be a vibe, bro.
So is that website already completed, but you're gonna launch it, go live on Saturday, or are you?
We're ready.
Yeah,
We're just more or less troubleshooting right now.
Okay,
like
sure.
just to make sure everything is, the interface and everything works well.
Yep.
So that's what we're trying to really nail down.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I don't think that's a topic I've addressed in any of my podcasts thus far. Are you leveraging a hosted platform like a Wix or a Shopify?
Shopify.
Okay, perfect,
Yeah.
perfect, smart.
Yeah. So we would just more or less run to make sure like when you have different clicks, what it goes directly to, or we have everything kind of organized. So if you order a hoodie, we know it's the SKU number of hoodie and how many we sold of that one hoodie. So we're trying to keep track of sales and what is exactly selling. So we want to set it up to where we can keep track of exactly what sizes, what colors, what is doing the best. So, and as far as like the website setup, we don't want it to be like men's, women, like the traditional. We kind of want it to just be like unisex. Yeah. So we want to just keep it as like jackets, hats, hoodies, just like that. So I want it to be like, I want it to kind of just be a reach for everybody. Like I don't want to limit it to like anything.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. So did you build the website, or you have someone on your team?
Yeah,
or
Chelsea.
Okay, you and Chelsea. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And again, I'm asking these questions because so many people, they have that idea.
Get a team. Get you a good team with you. Get you a good, honest team that you feel like you can trust. That's been the best thing for me. Because before, when I tried to do the brand by myself, I was trying to do everything, and it just stressed me out that I couldn't do everything and still make all of the clothes.
Yeah. You have to wear a lot of hats at first, but then you're gonna hit a ceiling, and you can't scale when you're plateauing like that. So then you delegate to someone else, and then those two people hit a ceiling. Then you have to get a third. Those three people hit a ceiling. You continue to expand that way.
So those have been just great, man. We all kind of share the same vision. We all kind of want to be all inclusive. So it's just been really, really good. Like I'm really excited about see where it's headed. And just, I'm still learning what energy means. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still something I'm still understanding myself. So it's really good.
I love it, man. Yeah. Walk me through some of the biggest takeaways you've learned through this process, and it can be either from. I'm actually just going to make this a two-part question. The first part is going to be what has been the number one takeaway from a business perspective? Like, what was the number one business principle you've learned? And then the follow-up question to that will be, what was the number one interpersonal skill set you've learned by going through this process?
I would say for the number one question is watch every penny.
Okay.
I would say watch every penny, seeing where everything is going, like direct it down to what's doing the best, make more of that, know your audience, understand what is doing the best, understand what people like, understand what's kind of going on in social media. Because if you notice, the reflected thing is starting to become a trend. which I didn't know prior to me printing, but
I haven't seen it anywhere else.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen it anywhere else. And
I guess I just kinda studied
I've
it.
never seen it before. I mean, you should know that because this
Yeah.
is your space. But like I said earlier, the reflective piece really hooked me. But then again, that coupled with the fact that it says energy and it makes sense, I was like, that's dope.
Yeah.
But go ahead, keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt. So
So
watch
yeah.
every penny. But what does that? So let's
What does
be
that mean?
no. Let's just make sure it's clarified for the people watching and listening. So watch every penny. Does that mean, you know, you have a close eye on it, and you're not willing to spend any pennies, or it means just know where it's going, but also be willing to spend those pennies? And I already know how you're going to answer it, but I just want further clarification.
I feel like you have to spend money to make. You got to pay to play. So I feel like you have to, you know, give your product out and get feedback from it. I feel like you have to do, but watch your pennies. Like I count giving away stuff as in my marketing price.
Yep.
So I just try to watch and make sure what I'm spending as far as this business, and then I have to kind of separate that from real estate stuff. So it's kind of, I'm just trying to really keep track of what's going on. I want to make sure everybody's kind of happy and enjoying it. I don't want people to be stressed out working on. I mean, if anybody should be stressing, it should be me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't
Right.
want like Chelsea or nobody like that like stressing out about all this type of stuff, which she does.
Yeah.
But I would just say watch your penny, watch your back, watch your people around you. You know, it's all about protecting your brand. You know, it's kind of like your baby, man.
Mhm,
Just
of course.
start to seeing it take off. You gotta get nervous about like who's gonna start like trying to, you know, you're gonna get some flack coming to you when you're trying to just go straight forward. So I just feel like you have to just watch everything. You have to watch the people you have around that you feel like you can trust with it. So it's my spiel on that.
Yeah, makes sense. Now, number one takeaway from a either character development perspective or interpersonal like skill set perspective as you've been building this business.
I feel like the main thing for me was work ethic. I feel like that's my strong point. Like I can work hard. Like I will work, but it's just like directing that towards something that I'm passionate about. That was the hardest thing for me because so long I chased money.
Yep.
And that's been the hardest thing to not do is learn to. They say if you love your gift makes room for you. So I just try to be, you know, just giving, man. I just show love, man. And I feel like it's all just gonna come back. That's another point of energy. Like what you give out is what you get back.
I love it.
10 times over. So I just feel like, man, it's gonna make a way. It's gonna work out. I just don't want to, as long as I don't quit. I feel like that's the strongest point. It's just like, don't quit.
Right. That's what it's all about, man. You know, the people that I've had on this show, when I ask them that question, that is the most common thread. Is just an undying, sickening, motherfucking work ethic.
I didn't know we could cuss on the show.
It's called the Not So Fucking Ordinary Show, man. I told you.
I keep it PG, man.
Come on, man. Be yourself. Be yourself, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. So talk to me about your 1 year goal, your 5 year, and if there is a 10-year goal, tell me what that looks like.
Man, for 1 year, I would definitely want to have like a fall winter fashion show, like launch party. Especially, I want to start the year off right. So I'm looking at January, February, having like a big launch party. February, I want to at least have like a fall winter collection ready and just kind of put that out. And before the year's over, I want to have like a summer, spring one coming in, maybe like April, May, June, maybe like June. Have that summer line ready and just, you know, just keep having shows. And after that, after maybe after a year, so a 5-year plan is to just incorporate other brands and we all just start hosting fashion shows and just other creative people, like even artists and photographers. I feel like the more people in this space is just like better for everybody because all of the models that I bring, that everybody brings to the show is gonna be good for all of these photographers, and I feel like it's good for videographers, and I just want to create a good community of like people trying to go up.
Yeah, love it.
That's it, like.
And 10 year.
10 year, man.
And give me
10 year. I'm taking over Nike.
All right, there we go. That's what I like to hear.
Taking over Nike, bro.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
Gotta have that ambition, right?
Yeah.
Cool, man. Before we wrap, I recently started letting the guest, being you, ask me questions. Can be about anything. Surprising.
Tell me about Fit to Give.
Oh, you're gonna make me sell Fit to Give? I mean, what do you want to know about it?
Where did that begin? Is this you?
Yeah, this is me. So it's, there's a lot of similarities in my story to yours. This was an idea of mine a couple of years ago, sat on it, and then decided to start it this past summer. And, honestly, I've been in fitness for a good 5-6 years, but also in the corporate world. And so I was always that guy who had these see-through plastic piece of shit bottles with protein in them in meetings, and the shaker smelled. What was round was then oval because of the dishwasher. So when I shaked it, it was spilling everywhere. So I really wanted to create a really, high quality, not only from like a functionality perspective, but actually aesthetically pleasing. These come in a lot of the metal looking materials. So like the rose gold, the steel, matte white, matte black. And so they're very professional looking. And so that was the next iteration of that. And then the final piece that really pulled this entire product together was the brand behind it and the purpose and the mission we have, which is the giving back to charities. And so for me, it was important for me to have synergies between what I stand for from a fitness perspective and a health and wellness, while also being able to then give back to charities focused on higher quality water, the nutrition piece. And so that's how this started.
Wow. So you created this?
Yeah, so I get so we did the mock-up bottle design, get it manufactured overseas, imported in, and the logo's put on there, and it's laser printed on there. So on the metal ones, it's like it's etched, it's engraved. Yeah, you can't really see on the matte ones, but in the metal ones, it's engraved, which is gives it a texture to it.
How do you feel about outsourcing?
I feel like
overseas.
Yeah. So I mean, for me, it comes down to like I'm not biased and I'm not romantic about how I get things done. I feel like from a business perspective, you have to do what's best for driving the business and making sure it's profitable. And for me, the more sales and profits I can drive with Fit to Give, the more I can give to the charities. And so I need to do what's best from a profit margin standpoint, because the higher my profit margins, the more I can direct to those charities. So don't get me wrong, if I could source nationally or domestically, I absolutely would. But if it cuts a tremendous amount into the margin, then it defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to do.
That is true.
So but again, on the flip side of that coin, if being American made is in line with your mission, and it's at the cost of a couple of dollars of margin, then I think then you should absolutely do that. It's just figuring out what your story is and what is going to relate to your customers most is how I look at that.
I mean, it would be smart for me too, but I just kind of still enjoy making everything.
Yeah.
I want to outsource eventually.
I mean, there's going to be a point where you can't do it yourself.
Yeah.
You can't do it yourself. So when you get to that point, when you hit scale and critical mass, you're going to have to start sourcing manufacturers, and you're going to look domestically and you're going to look internationally, and you're going to have to do all the numbers and the ROI and the manufacturing costs, the shipping costs, and all that stuff. And I still, to this day, even though I have a great partnership with my current manufacturer, I still am looking for because in a perfect world, I'd love to manufacture these in the United States, at, of course, the cost that I would get internationally.
Was it hard for you to find that good manufacturer? Did you have to go through trial and error to get to a good one to find you?
I didn't necessarily have to go through trial and error, but I did do a lot of due diligence, and I vetted out a lot of manufacturers to ensure that they're able to meet the bottle specs. And not only the bottle specs, but you have to go deeper and think long term. Like, okay, if I get an order for 10, I'm sure you can fulfill that. But what if I need an order of 10,000? Can you can your facility actually handle the production capacity of doing that? And if you can do it, does that mean the shipping time is going to be 10x longer because it's more? So you have to think about the full supply chain and whether or not they're going to meet your needs today, tomorrow, next year, and as you continue to scale. So you definitely want to ask those type of questions when you're talking to the manufacturers.
It's good. It's good info.
Yeah, man. But create a relationship. You have to create a relationship. You have to be able to trust them, and they have to at least be able to trust you enough to be truthful with you, and that relationship piece is really important. So
we'll be looking at doing that soon.
So that's my answer. Okay, that's all I got for you, man. I really appreciate
Before
you
you
on the
leave,
show.
give you a beanie.
Matches the sweatshirt too. Yeah, man. So what? All right. Before we wrap up, is this the official logo here?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the logo, like the Nike swoosh.
I like it, man. So it's a wordless brand recognition without words.
I want you to see that.
I like that.
Energy.
That's smart. Yeah, I like how you know, people's eyes go here, but that logo, you know, is still incorporated. So I think, you know, subliminally and subconsciously, people will pick up on that. So when they see this, they'll say, okay, that's energy.
That's energy.
Yeah, that's perfect, man. I appreciate this, dude.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. You know, I'm going to continue to hype it up. You know that.
Tag us on Instagram.
Of course, man. So tell everyone real quickly before we wrap up where they can find you personally, as well as the page for Energy, as well as the website for Energy.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram at IamEnergy_Mike. You can find the brand page at Energy Gear. I tried to buy that domain name.
Yeah.
And it was trying to cost $50,000.
Oh my gosh, of course.
So,
and is it even a domain that's in use?
No,
or is it just
because it's so simple.
Yeah,
it's so simple, and that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be super simple.
That's the worst, man.
So the website is shopenergygear.com. So
that's good. Yeah,
it's good.
That works. Yeah,
it still works. So
cool, man.
yeah. So please follow us, man. Support it, man. We're trying to do something positive. Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Well, that's a wrap for us, folks.
Yes,
please follow Mike and everything he's doing. Check out his gear. As you can tell, it's awesome. It's fly, it's dope. It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Mike, real pleasure having you on the show, my man.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, man. All right, guys, we're out.
Yeah.